Hello, and welcome to our teacher talk on launching the Space Colony Competition. We are so excited to dive into this incredible opportunity for students to apply STEM skills in a real-world challenge. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from two experienced Space Colony competition teachers, Lauren and Brittany. They have successfully guided their students through the competition and are here to share their insights, strategies, and best practices to help you get started. Before we begin, I'd like to briefly introduce the Space Colony Competition. This competition challenges students to design and build a sustainable space habitat, applying principles of engineering, science, and creativity. It's an exciting way to engage students in STEM while fostering teamwork, problem solving, and innovation. Let's take a look at our competition trailer. I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Michelle Bogdan, and I am the programming coordinator for the Cosmic Leap Foundation. Previously, I was a Space Club teacher, leading my sixth grade students through the Colony Competition, an experience that was both inspiring and rewarding. Currently, I work at NASA as an education specialist, continuing my passion for STEM engagement. With a background in teaching 5th through 8th grade science, I had the privilege of running Space Club in my classroom. Attached are some photos of my students immersed in Space Club activities and the Colony Competition. This program not only provided them with hands-on, authentic learning experiences, but also ignited their enthusiasm for every mission. Year after year, they eagerly anticipated participating again, a testament to the competition's impact on their learning journey. Now, I am excited to introduce our guest. Let's hear from our amazing guests, Lauren and Brittany. Thank you for joining us. To start, could you both introduce yourselves?
Yes, I'm Brittany Colgan. I teach K-8 STEAM at Waltham Elementary in Utica, Illinois.
And I'm Lauren Kelly. I am an innovation specialist in Crowley.
Awesome. Thank you both for being here today with me. I am excited to talk all things competition with you both. But before we kind of get into the deep questions of the competition, I'd love for you to introduce yourselves a little bit further. So Brittany, could you share a little bit about your experience with Space Club and the Space Colony Competition? Maybe a little bit about how long you've been with Space Club and how you've implemented the competition in your classroom?
Fabulous. So I found Space Club when COVID hit in the 2020, 2021. My specials class for STEM was afternoons when students were at home. And so I needed something online that they could do hands-on and send it to me. So I have done the Space Club missions, the weekly ones that we did for about 3 to 4 years. And then we jumped to the Space Colonies about 3 years ago. And I have my sixth graders each year work on this. And this is a picture from these ones that you see right here are mixed of last year's kids and this year's sixth graders. And I have them in different groups. I have them talk about space. I have them they're all cardboard. They build their own stuff. They do all their own designs. The blueprints are 6 feet long. And we spend about 2.5 months building and creating and learning all things Moon and Mars. So that's what we do.
Amazing. Oh, well, we're going to have more questions about how you manage all these supplies in your classroom. But I want to pass it to Lauren. So tell us a little bit, Lauren, about your experience with Space Club and the Space Colony Competition.
Hi, yes. I have a very similar journey that Brittany did, that I discovered Space Club during COVID. My district started the STEM program about 5 years ago, and I actually was attending the virtual conference, Elementary STEM Con, where I discovered about Space Club. And at the time, because the program was new, I needed some ideas because I was tasked with running 2 after-school STEM clubs, and I needed resources and ideas because we had nothing. We were starting a program from scratch. So Space Club allowed me to save on planning time, but also give my students some engaging STEM lessons that would keep them excited after school. But then the job role changed a little bit, and then I incorporated GT into my job. So I decided to do the Space Colony competition with my 3rd through 5th grade GT students, which is who you see here in these photos. They decided to either do the Moon or the Mars for the last 3 years, and they kind of amp it up every time. So that's been my fun little journey, and we're continuing it on. I'm actually going to incorporate it into summer school for the first time this summer.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome pictures. It's great to hear the different ways we've all incorporated this. Science classrooms, STEM classrooms, GT classrooms, summer school. So that's awesome that we've all have this different perspective from where we're coming from, but at the same, purpose. And with that, I'm going to take our slides down and just kind of jump into a conversation with you guys to ask a few questions about the Colony competition, help us and teachers kind of get started and feel confident with what they're doing, and know that they're not alone in this. And it's a whirlwind the first time you go through it, figuring out the materials, figuring out kind of. I really realized my students took the lead on a lot of it. They were catching on, and I was all worried about the planning, but they knew exactly what to do. So let's dig into some questions. So my first question is going to be for Brittany. How do you prepare your students for the competition? So kind of what's your kind of timeline? How do you get them ready?
All right. So I'm a huge space nerd at my school. Like I'm the go-to for that. So all year I tell them stuff about space, what's going on in the news. So in February, when we get the chance to sign up for the competition, I sign up. I tell them that they have 2 choices, Moon and Mars. And then when we get the packet that is provided once you register, all those resources from the videos, the YouTube videos, and like the NASA videos, I put it in Google Classroom, and I give them 1 class period to go through 3 or 4 of those videos, Moon or Mars, and then they have to answer things that they thought were cool about Moon and Mars, and then what they thought their strengths could be if they were on the colony, or what they were going to build if they were on the colonies, and then which one they would like to do. So Moon or Mars, and then who would they like to work with. So right out of the gate, they're already invested in which group they'd like to be in, and then I try my best to put them with people, not all their friends, they don't all get to be in their same little groups, but people that are like-minded, some of those skills that they think that they have, I put them in different groups, and then we just go all out. I give them all the paperwork, and they all get white paper to plan it out. And then they get those big 6 feet white papers that you saw in those photos. And those groups work together for 3 days. And then the cardboard begins. And I bring in cardboard. I bring in the cardboard scissors. You saw the wires. I have all different random things in my room, and they know it. And they get to do everything. They can choose whatever they want. And they have a specific timeline that they have to get certain things done. So as of right now, we had state testing this week, so they didn't get to build, but they worked together to modify their paperwork that has to be done for submissions. And then next week, before we go for spring break, they have to finalize their layout before they can paint. So we're going to have everything ready to go. It looks like chaos in my room during this class period, but everything is ready to go every single time, and it'll be submitted the 25th. Fingers crossed.
Organized chaos. That is.
Yes.
Awesome. That's a great picture of how it all kind of comes together, and guiding the students along the way. So they're not just like set out to go build these colonies. You're kind of training them along the way of what they should be doing. I have a question for you. Now, I had all my students do Mars colonies. You let the groups pick which colony they're going to do?
So I let them decide, after they watch the videos. Some people really love Mars, and some people really love the Moon. And I would rather them be excited about where they'd want to go. And that gives them that gives me already buy-in that I don't have to wait for. So they get to choose every
I love that. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that. And then my other question was with materials. You said you have a lot of the materials in your classroom. Do you ever incorporate the students into bringing the materials in?
Yes. So when they are using that big white piece of paper, and they're all working together and they have all these ideas and all these things, I tell them like what I have in my room, and then they have to bring stuff in. So they'll get their little Post-its out and they'll say like, over the weekend, you bring this, this, and this. I have one group who has calico critters this year for their people, because that's what her favorite animal is. And that little girl was not going to budge. She was bringing them in. So we have all kinds of stuff in our room right now. So yeah, they bring them whatever they need to.
Lauren, I want to give you a moment to chime in if you wanted to on your experience with that.
I've had a similar experience when I've done this with the GT kids. They get to choose whether they want Moon or Mars just for the buy-in aspect, but I really do play into the competition and tell them like, you're competing with these people right here in this room, but also like across the nation. And like real experts are going to be seeing this. So you need to like produce your best work and put your best effort into it. And then when it comes to materials, I actually have like a little flyer paper that I send home to not only the staff, but all the parents, and it's posted on our social media that I'm always collecting like recycled goods. And I'll kind of like highlight the 2 or 3 things that I'm most in need of. Because sometimes you get, a whole bunch of one thing and not another. So like say I need egg cartons, I'll post it on like our social media page. And then I'll have parents their kids are not even in GT, but they just want to get rid of these things anyway, especially if they know it's going to a good cause. And then I have a giant collection box outside of my door of plastic pad that says STEM materials, and teachers, parents, whoever can donate stuff all year long. So if I'm running low on something, I get those parents to help me.
Yes, that's a great idea. I'm learning so many ideas I could incorporate. All right, so we'll go to our next question. And this one, I'm going to have Lauren kind of kick us off with this. What are the learning goals for this project, and how do you promote them to the students or throughout the process?
So the biggest one for me is I do this with my 3rd through 5th grade GT. And for most of them, this is going to be the longest project they've ever had to do. So it's a lot about building up that grit and stamina, because they're used to just doing something maybe in one class period at over a week, but to do something over the course of months is brand new to them. And understanding that you're not going to finish this in one class period. Like this is going to be a very long project, and to break this very big project into small manageable chunks. And that's not easy for them because I've never had to do that. So I kind of help guide them through that process of like, this is your overall goal. You're trying to make this moon colony, but you're not going to make it all in one day. Let's focus on maybe like one little section, like where do they sleep? So what do they need for that? Well, they need a bed. Well, let's make a bed. Well, where's the bed going? Is it just floating around? Where's it go? And just giving them little chunks to slowly help them incorporate and understand like these little pieces will become a part of the big picture. And another thing for them is learning the research skills, because, you put them on a computer and they'll just going to Google random things. Well, they need those skills to get on a computer and find the right information. Like, what do astronauts need on the moon or Mars? What things can we bring? Can I just pack all my favorite animals onto the rocket and go to Mars? Like, will that work or not? And helping them understand how to find the answers to their questions eventually on their own. And then working with a team is a big one. They need to be able to communicate with each other and decide who's taking the task and this part or that part, and delegating, because this is a huge project. This is not a by yourself thing. This is a group effort. And they need to be able to like take all of those big project ideas and break it into manageable chunks, and then decide who's in charge of it, and then communicate with each other so they're all on the same page about stuff.
Yeah, that kind of the scaffolding is important in kind of recognizing what level your students are at and like how much they would need. Obviously, a 3rd grader is going to need a little more scaffolding on a project like this than maybe an 8th grade student. But just the importance of, I recognize my students would have a hard time. They wanted to get it all done. And then, a week would go by and we were building and I'm like, did we make progress? So kind of just being able to check in and write that delegating of what is your role and what portion are you working on, and them knowing within the team kind of what their roles are in their building, and to make that progress and see that those goals over time. So thank you for sharing. Brittany, I want to give you a chance if you have anything to add, but.
Oh, I think Lauren did great. My only thing that I would add is like I do 6th grade, and so for this particular project, and I use just the regular NGSS. So whenever I tell them projects, like it's three things. You have to look at the problem, research it, and then solve it. And so you're going to the moon or Mars, and you have all the nice little packlet that tells us, the scenarios and whatever. You pick your stuff. What do you need to do? And yeah, same thing with the computer. Like, you can Google anything, but are the websites correct? Like, where are you finding this information? So that takes a lot of class time and a lot of preparing kids to do. So yeah, that's another one that we use in our room. So.
Thank you. All right. And Brittany, I'll have you kick off this question for us. What strategies did you use to ensure all students were actively involved? And I know we've talked a little bit about some of this, but kind of those strategies to really make sure the teams were keeping everyone involved in what they were working on.
So what I do right out of the gate, all my big projects that I do for middle school, if it's going to be longer than a week or two, everyone gets a Post-it every single day. They put their name on it as soon as they come in. And at the end of class, I give them 2 or 3 minutes, and they have to tell me what they did, not what their group did that day, what they did. So I know, even if I'm walking around, I'm going to know, but I want them to tell me in their words what they did. So that's one of my strategies. But I also incorporate like a secret leader every week. So kids who are doing really helping out that week, I might grab them on a Friday and go, you were fabulous this week. Next week, I want you to be in charge of monitoring, this, and this. And so then they take that lead, and I switch it around each week to somebody else gets to be in charge. And then those kids who might be floundering, who don't do well in group settings for very long, I sit with them one-on-one and ask them what they think that they should be doing in their group. I had a kid last week who really likes plants. His spot on their mission or their little colony is the greenhouse, and all he wanted to do was make the plants. And he was being asked to make other things, and he would have his head down or anything else. And I was like, kiddo, what do you want to do? And he's like, I just want to make the plants. And I was like, okay. So I told his group he's just going to make the plants today, and they're like, okay, that's totally fine. So he spent class period, and we have plants that look like alien stuff that are coming, but that's got him going, and now he's ready to be back in the group. And so, playing to their strengths, but also making sure that they are held accountable.
Awesome. That's great advice, great strategies to kind of get all our students moving, especially with those long projects. Every day a different student might need a little push in a different area. So those are some helpful strategies for us. All right, Lauren, I'm going to pass our next question to you. How did your students react to receiving feedback from a STEM professional? So all of the students get back a video from the competition of a STEM professional giving them feedback on their colonies. So how was that experience for you on the other side as a teacher?
That was definitely one of our favorite moments of the entire competition. It was a starting piece that they knew that they were going to get the entire competition. So they were looking forward to it the entire time. And as soon as we submitted their video, the next day, they kept asking, do we have it yet? Do we have it yet? Do we have it yet? I'm like, hold up, no, just give them a second, And as soon as we got that video, they just lost it. They loved it. They really watched it, and they really saw our stuff. And they were just so excited that somebody outside of the school was giving them kudos on their project, because at this point, they haven't had anybody other than somebody in the school building see any of the work they've ever done. So this is the first time somebody, an expert at NASA or somewhere else, like Lockheed, is looking at their project and giving them real feedback. Plus, they also learning about what these people do. They learn about jobs they've never heard of before, and I haven't heard of before. And they're like, this is a real person doing a real job. This is something you can do if you want. And they wanted me to play the videos over and over again. And even this was right before summer break, and they came back in the fall, hey, do you still have that video? Can we see that again? Because with my GT kids, I see them every single year. So I had my same group of third graders who were now in fourth grade asking about the video again before we started the competition again. And they, in the certificates we got, those are on the wall. Their parents told me those are right next to their bed. And they asked if I could share them with their parents, because they wanted their parents to see the feedback that they received. So I was able to take that video and email it out to the parents so that they could have it, and actually the parents could see the feedback and the projects and all the hard work that they put in, so that the parents were involved now. So this became a huge community thing. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea to kind of share it out with the school community, the parents, because it is incredible feedback from STEM professionals, taking the time to watch the videos from the students and get back to them and hopefully inspiring them on those careers that you talked about. So Thank you for sharing. Brittany, I want to let you share as well, because I know the feedback videos are a huge piece. So how are your students with getting their feedback videos?
Really, I can't even explain to you how excited they are. I have, just like Lauren, we shared them out and I put it on Google Classroom. So each group had their own video they could watch. And actually that day that we got the awards and our feedback was our award ceremony for the end of the school year. So my co-teacher and I basically ran down to the assembly, because we don't usually go in there, and said, could we have these kids stand up? And we explained to the parents and the people who were there that, these sixth graders, this group was recognized for a planetary level. And like this group was, I can't remember the other ones. Thank you. And so they stood up in front of all these people and we held up their little certificates. And then when they came back, they all signed it and I made them all copies. So they took them home. And then the videos, I still have the videos. They're in my own little Google folder. And just like Lauren, every year. And yeah, that was, are we doing the competition again this year? Are we going to get the same people? And I was like, no, I'm doing it with the next group. It's a big deal at our school too.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And it's a great way to kind of end the school year out as well.
Yes.
All right. We have 2 more questions left. And this one, I'm going to pass to Brittany to kick us off. What is one piece of advice for teachers running this competition for the first time?
Go slow and have fun with it. Like one of my quotes that I have in my room is, can you make it weirder? And for it being in space and Moon and Mars, it's always, is that as weird as you're going to get it for like, what if you see aliens? Like what's going to happen? So yeah, going to make sure they all have what they need and truly letting them have so much fun and their imagination run wild with it is the best part.
Yeah, I love that advice. Just trusting the process. And again, I think I said at the beginning, the students pick up on what to do really quick. So follow their lead and you can kind of guide them along the way. But yeah, I love the idea of just have fun the first time. You're not going to get it perfect and the kids aren't going to know. And you're just going to turn them in and cheer on them. And yeah, it'll be great. And then our last question is for Lauren. What was a favorite moment from doing the Space Colony competition?
It's not just a singular moment, but it's one of those as a teacher when like the kids are just like on autopilot, like they're just doing it. Like they got the competition down. They have the roles, the materials, the plan. I'm just there. Yes. And it's just watching them like talk with each other and like, hey, here's a problem. Like, oh, I'm going to go research. If somebody gets on the Chromebook and looks it up in the research. And then somebody else is like, well, what about this solution? And the whole thing happens. And I'm just watching it. And it's just like magic. And I'm just like, done. It's perfect. Because that's what you want as a teacher is you're trying to give them those skills to be lifelong learners, dependent. And I'm like, they got it. They got skills like in the future, especially with these GT babies. Sometimes they're left to the side and not always given the attention that they need. But now they have the skills like, I have a question, I can go figure it out. I have a problem and I know what to do. I can communicate my ideas with somebody and somebody's going to see it and appreciate it. And like, that's it for me. And that's why I do this. Just to give them that opportunity and these skills to just shine and like knowing like, hey, they're going to be okay. And that's, as a teacher, that is our goal. That's what it is for me.
So what a perfect way to kind of close out this talk. And thank you for sharing because, that is what we want, right? We want our students to be working, engaged in the classroom, loving what they're doing, asking to do it again. And I am so happy and thrilled that that's kind of the experience you both are getting from the competition. And I hope that all of the teachers that are watching can kind of learn a few tips and tricks from you guys along the way. But I'm going to close this out and thank you both again for sharing your experiences and expertise. Your insights, as I mentioned, will of course, help teachers feel more confident and prepared to bring this exciting challenge to their students. To all our teachers, we appreciate your dedication to STEM education and inspiring the next generation of space explorers. If you have further questions or need additional research or resources, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. And we would love to hear from you. So share your Space Club experiences in the Cosmic Portal. And thank you again and happy exploring. Thanks, Brittany. Thanks, Lauren.